We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice long
Welcome
hair.
back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. And we missed out on a tape review yesterday. Sorry about that, everyone. Work is crazy right before the holidays, as I'm pretty sure everybody's work is a little bit. So wasn't able to hop on. Yeah, maybe it was exactly what Taco Man's saying. Maybe it was just so gross. I didn't want to. maybe my job was just telling me that. Like, you know what? Don't do that. Don't look at what we just saw on Sunday. But Monday. Hope y'all are doing well, though, because it is Wednesday, and today we are going to preview the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears, and we'll do what we always do, break down the injuries, break down the opponent, talk about the offense, defense, special teams, and wrap things up with who has the edge and some game day predictions. So it's been just a couple weeks since the Bears went against the Lions, and yes, it was the game that ultimately we saw Matt Eberflus eventually get fired after what we saw on Thanksgiving. It's hard for us to remember that, but it's burnt into our memory as Bears fans. So let's actually break this down and start going through. So let's start out and talk about the injuries a little bit, because we have a little bit of information with the injuries. Now, first off, Gervon Dexter did not participate on Wednesday. Tevin Jenkins did not participate. And also Ryan Bates did not participate, and Braxton Jones. So there you have 3 offensive linemen not participating. Now the big one to watch out for is Braxton Jones tomorrow on Thursday. Like we have always said about concussions, if he does not participate, we're having Amagaji again. And I'm curious, do y'all want to see Amagaji out there again, or would you rather see Larry Borom? Because to me, Borum's probably a little better. Borom is a better left tackle than right tackle. Borom would be a better play out there. But it is still nice to at least let the rookie get some of his reps out there. But man, it was rough. It was a bad game for him. Bad game for him on Monday. And yeah, just yet again. And I'll say what I talked about in the post-game review, where to me, I felt like he was, it wasn't good. At the same time, this is someone who missed a lot of the training camp, and he was more of a developmental player. So, yeah, he's not going to put it together this year, and he might never put it together. It's just the way things are. We can't have instant gratification and instantly know what he's going to be. He's still had a lot of really raw tools coming out, and so hopefully he can at least turn into something, but not having a full offseason, stuff like that. He's already behind the 8 ball, and we definitely saw it against the Vikings. Maybe if he's going against a team that isn't as crazy as the Minnesota Vikings with all their blitz packages, maybe he looks a little better, because quite frankly, couldn't look much worse. Also, good news though, Roschon Johnson, full participant with a concussion. That is something that is exciting to see, because now you get the bash of Roschon Johnson with a Swift. That's what I love seeing. And we only saw one game where Johnson was really heavily used. After that, you saw his carries really kind of drop off. To me, give him more carries. I would love to see him back out there. Love to see just the difference that he runs with versus like a DeAndre Swift. That is something that I really like about Roschon Johnson. So I do hope that Roschon is going to be the guy that gets, not like 10 carries plus, but at least like 8. Feed him the ball a little bit. He gets a lot of those easy carries, and also give it to him down in the red zone. But also, like we were saying, keep an eye on Gervon Dexter with the knee. My guess is he's probably not going to play, but ultimately it's going to come down to Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins. Those are your 2 key players to keep eyes out for, because if Tevin can't go, then hopefully, hopefully it's not just the whole Doug Kramer at left guard, because, man, if that's the case, you can keep Amagaji out there and then just tell Caleb to roll out to the right side every single play, right? What's every play we're going to do? Roll out to the right. But I will say something too. Something that I felt like we didn't see much was Cole Kmet or like any tight end chip blocking a little bit with Amagaji. He's a rookie. Give him some help. And in this offense, we just don't really see a lot of help with the tight end. Every time the tight end would go back to block, we typically will see that more in the sense of two tight ends blocking one defensive end in this system. So that was something that we just don't see in the system that I kind of wish you would. You should help the rookie as he goes against very difficult players. So I would love to see just a little bit of help with him on that outside. But let's flip over to the opponent that we're going to be breaking down, the Detroit Lions, because the last time that we faced the Detroit Lions, like we said, this was the bad clock management game at the very end when the Bears ultimately should have been the victors, should have won the game, ultimately lose 23-20 because we take a sack, or basically not really a sack, but just a QB draw. Caleb goes down and nothing good ends up happening after that. But just so everyone remembers, Caleb went 20 of 39 for 256 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, sacked 5 times. Caleb Williams tied DeAndre Swift in rushing yards, 4 carries for 39 yards, while Swift 11 for 39. Then also from a receiving standpoint, DJ Moore, 8 receptions on 16 targets. They were really trying to force it over to him. Keenan Allen, 5 catches, 73 yards, and Rome Odunze, only 2 catches for 25 yards, but still 6 targets. And you look at what the defense did. Goff only passed for 221 yards. That's because Jahmyr Gibbs was averaging 9.7 yards a carry, and David Montgomery, 4.2 yards a carry. Monty had 88 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs had 87. And now, with David Montgomery out with an injury, that is going to be something that, man, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to absolutely go off against the Bears, just like how Amon-Ra St. Brown always seems to go off on us too. 73 receiving yards last game. Also, Taco Man DJ throwing his gloves in the end zone. Yeah, his attitude's piss poor. Like, I think that's the best way to describe it for sure. But also, we're going to be playing. Actually, before we get into that, I forgot about one other key piece of injuries. The Lions have the worst injury luck in the entire NFL. They have 22 players on IR. I just kind of want to go through this list real quick. So Alex Anzalone, linebacker. Then David Bada, who's defensive lineman. Michael Badgley, the Honey Badger, former Chicago Bears great. We have Derek Barnes, John Kaminsky. We have Marcus Davenport, Carlton Davis, the cornerback, just went down last week. Khalil Dorsey, a cornerback. Connor Calvin, an offensive lineman. Antonio Green, Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end. That's not even all of it. We're not done yet. Let me actually expand this a little bit more. Nate Lyon. We have Aleem McNeil, the defensive tackle, just went down as well. Melifonwu, their safety. We have Natani Mutai, the guard. We have Pecco, the defensive lineman. We have Rakestraw, their cornerback. We have Khalif Raymond, a wide receiver. We have Reeves Maben, a linebacker. We have Malcolm Rodriguez, one of their very good linebackers. And also Mekhi Wingo, a draft pick out of LSU, defensive tackle. Yeah, like what Taco Man said, whoever was not injured would have probably been a faster way to kind of go through that. They have so many injuries out there. But when you look at the defense, it's still a well schemed up defense. They're still able to get the best out of their players because they still have Kirby Joseph and Branch as their 2 safeties, now really becoming 2 of the top safeties in the entire league. And then also in the middle, Campbell has performed like a phenomenal inside linebacker. Ezekiel Turner is now their new starting linebacker for them with Rodriguez going down. But still, Campbell, very, very reliable in the middle. And their defensive line, DJ Reader, just a good defensive tackle, is still there. Arunzo Rike is still solid, just an okay defensive tackle that they have in the middle. But they still have Zadarius Smith that they picked up, who is just a consistent veteran that will get after the quarterback. Same thing, Josh Pascal, nothing crazy, but he's still someone that you do have to watch out for a little bit. Nothing outrageous, but like Taco Man just said, they still got to Caleb 5 times last time. Because even though that they didn't have Aiden Hutchinson, they were still able to get sacks against us. Still looking at Smith, but without Aleem McNeil out there, hopefully we start to see a lot better play. Because I remember looking back at the tape, and Aleem McNeil was crazy against us. Absolutely dominant against us. So that is a huge loss on that interior. So hopefully we can get something started. Maybe on the ground, with Roshan being back. And also maybe keep in an extra running back or tight end to just kind of help out Karan Amagaji, or especially that left-hand side if Tevin Jenkins isn't able to end up going for us. But still, this is a good defense. They're very good schematically, so they're not going to be an easy cakewalk of a team. Now, just like with last time that we played against them, look for the wide receiver matchups as the key matchups to look out for. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, going against, who are their players now? Oh yeah, Kindle Vildor is still a starting cornerback for them. Terrion Arnold, the first rounder out of Alabama, has had a down year so far this year. And Amik Robertson has given up some of the most yardage for slot players, actually for cornerbacks all over the place. So this is a great matchup for these wide receivers, especially like a Keenan Allen. Like I said, slot receivers usually feast against the Detroit Lions. So definitely a matchup to watch out for. Now, offensive line. It's hard because you look at, so I want to just call this out. PFF grade, Jones is the 20th highest graded tackle, right? 17th highest graded tackle. Pryor, 22nd guard. Jenkins is 14th guard. Shelton is 12th center. So PFF really likes the line. And we've talked about the line before. The line itself, it's not terrible. I think that as Bears fans, like typical Bears fans, we don't watch the tape. But on this show, we do watch the tape. And they're better than what us as fans give them credit for. Now, is this a great unit? No. And it's like what we talked about. Why do we have so many sacks? Caleb has been regressing. Caleb has not been looking as good as he was in some of the other weeks. He doesn't look as confident. He's not hitting wide open receivers. He's not passing it to them. Now, receivers still could be better, yes, but I think that the reason why you are seeing the Bears regress so much, it's lack of effort. Caleb's not playing as well. It's stuff like that. And also running backs, trying to get the running game going. Cole Kmet has really regressed, like we've said. It coincides with the show, ironically enough, right? It really does. Cole Kmet now is the 35th ranked tight end according to PFF, and that's one of those grades that we back up. Cole has not been looking good out there, blocking, receiving. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's just not looking like the same Cole Kmet that we're accustomed to seeing. Just overall with this offense, though, I still don't believe in the running game to truly get going. Swift, can you have a revenge game? Because last time you didn't. And he really started to get something going later on in the game. So maybe he does something. And also, let's talk about these matchups to watch out for. Because the matchup to watch out for to me, obviously it's whoever's at left tackle if Braxton Jones isn't out there. But really to me, it's going to be Keenan Allen versus Robertson, their slot corner. That to me is the matchup to watch out for, because that is one that you can consistently win and consistently take advantage of. And when we talk about X factors, y'all know I don't like calling out the quarterback as the X factor, because I think it's kind of easy to do because they do affect the game more than anybody else. But that is my X factor, is Caleb Williams. Caleb needs to play like Caleb, and he just looks a little shaken. He just looks a little frazzled out there with the way that he's playing. And we've seen this with some of these games where he just doesn't look confident, and he's not throwing it with the same speed. He's not feeling confident in the pocket. He's my X factor because it's going to be on him. There's so much put on him because the running game typically hasn't been getting going. So that is my X factor right out there is Caleb Williams. But let's flip over to this Bears defense where we can't even stop a nosebleed, as we all know. And if Javon is not able to go, which kind of expect him not to, we're going to have Pickens and Cowart, two backup practice squad caliber players, you could say, that are starting for us at D tackle. They are going to be running the football all over us because right now, if they get their line back with Sewell, Zeitler, Decker at left tackle, Ragnow, now their weak link is Glasgow, their left guard. So there's that. But we're not going to be able to take advantage of that. I think ultimately, if I was them, I would just run it with Gibbs every single down. That's all they have to do. They don't need to do anything crazy, anything outrageous. It's going to be this line. This line and this running game, that is what's going to be able to beat us, and that's going to be what they're going to be going to try to do. Now, it did feel like we were stopping the run a little bit better than we typically have going against the Vikings. Now, it wasn't good, but it was a lot better than some of the other games that we've had. Yet again, bar very, very low. Actually, the yards per carry that we allow very, very high. So that is going to be the big thing is Gibbs, make sure that he doesn't run for over 150 yards on us. That to me, he can completely embarrass us because he can take over. He can take over. This line can take over. And just speedy, quick running backs, we really do struggle with. And that is going to be the biggest matchup. Actually, let's talk about matchups because to me, it's St. Brown and Kyler Gordon. So the slots on both sides. Because Kyler Gordon going against St. Brown, like I've said, St. Brown has very, very good games against us. And Gordon, you got to get the best of him. You got to show him who's boss, that you're a top tier slot corner in this league. It's difficult. St. Brown is very, very good. But that is going to be something where if you can at least stop him, then maybe we can stop the run. Maybe. So also, if we talk about X factors, Hicks is back at least in the safety backfield. Now, Owens was still a good player, but I think if we're talking about X factors, I'm gonna go with Kevin Byard again. I feel like I go with Kevin Byard, but Kevin Byard to me is going to be the X factor because we need someone to try and stop the run. The linebackers have not been playing well. The D-line, we're not going to be able to count on them to make big plays. So to me, Kevin Byard as the safety to try to make those big plays is going to be the X factor to me because, man, we got to do that. Maybe even like Kyler Gordon, just because he makes big plays in the run as well. We just need our defensive backs to make plays for our linebackers that we've paid so handsomely over these years. So that is my defensive preview. Let's flip over to the special teams where, to me, let's keep pinning them back and get some field goals. Because actually, let me pull up what we did from a field goal perspective, because I think this is where they blocked another field goal for us last time. Never mind, we had 2 extra points, no field goals were attempted, but still, get the field goals up, don't have them blocked, and then have your punter be able to pin them deep. This is also going to be inside of Chicago at Soldier Field, so we can at least do something at Soldier Field. We can't win on the road, but at Soldier Field, maybe. Now, the thing that I think is going to be difficult is that we know us Bears fans. Us Bears fans get angry about very simple things, about very basic things, because we're frustrated with having a losing team, a team that is this bad. That's what we're frustrated about. And I think the big piece is just, I can see if we don't get a good drive going, we're going to boo them like crazy. It's going to be a sold out crowd, just like we always are. But I could see just the boo birds coming in. I could see a lot of Detroit fans there. Probably the most that we've seen throughout this, because I could see a lot of Bears fans just kind of giving up. I think that we all kind of have that feeling, that vibe with what's going on. But let's talk a little bit about who has the edge. And also, Drax, what's good, my friend? Hope you're doing well. He's saying X Factor, Thomas Brown. Yeah, that's a very good one. Thomas Brown across the board for sure. Like, hey, let's have some accountability out there. Let's have this team playing well. Yeah, I agree there. But let's go into who has the edge. And I think if you listen to all the different things that I talked about, this probably doesn't come as a surprise. Who has the edge is basically the Lions, because the passing game has not looked the same since Thomas Brown has taken over as the head coach. So I'm not going to give us that there. Our running game has not gotten, we had one of the best running games that we've had last week, but it still wasn't good. And then you flip over to the defense. They're going to run on us. They're going to pass on us. Lions have the edge, period. And even like the whole home field advantage. Like I said, we're fed up as fans. And if they start putting out the same exact product that we've seen the past couple weeks, man, I don't think we're going to be having a home field advantage because we're going to be booing. I could see Bears fans cheering for the Lions if we're like playing that poorly. You know, we're passionate. We're a passionate fan base that wants to win. And so let's get back down to our predictions, right? What are we thinking for the predictions of this game? Because, hey, the Detroit Lions, they dropped one against the Bills. So maybe they're looking, maybe they're exhausted from that. Yeah, and Taco Man saying, bring your paper bags. Monty playing? No. David Montgomery is actually out for the year. So it's just going to be Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the one. So predictions. I don't think that this is going to be good. They're going to put up points. They were able to put up 23 against us last time. And man, I mean, looking at their scores, they don't put up bonkers numbers, 24 against the Packers, 26 against the Texans, but then 52 against the Titans, 52 against the Jags, 42 against the Bills. We've been giving up like over 30 points recently. So I'm going to say we give up 34 points. So I'm going to say it's going to be 34-24. 24-24. Right? No, 34-17. 34-17 will be the final. I don't think it's going to be that close. Taco Man saying 27-13. Yeah, we always like to do just the bold predictions. And I feel like with the bold predictions, with this, it's hard because, yet again, it's like, well, what is the bold prediction? And you know what? My bold prediction will be Jahmyr Gibbs over 150 yards, all purpose. All purpose. I'll caveat it with that. Maybe that's not as bold as we want, but still, I just think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go off. I might do some betting on some of those things just to kind of see. But that's what I'm feeling. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Like we've said, it's been a long season, but hey, 3 more games and then we'll be done with the season. But also too, Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. Happy holidays. Actually, we'll talk on Sunday. So I'll see you all then for our live show. Usually we go live around 7:15, 7:30 on Sunday. So hope to see you there. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. Rate the show 5 stars everywhere you get your podcast. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and you know that she's a